To all rugby league fans across the planet, Merry Rugby League Christmas, everyone. Howdy everyone, it's Sam. Welcome to the Wobble and Jaw Sports channel. If you're new around here, hope I can get you to consider to like the content and subscribe to the channel. But if you are a regular around these here parts, thank you very much for the continuous support. Yes, the Rugby League draw for 2024 dropped approximately an hour and a half ago. And in my world, that's about a year since I've last read the draw. I haven't read the draw at all. I'm going to give a fresh reaction to both the NRL and NRLW North Queensland Cowboys fixtures coming up in the next couple of seconds. Just want to say thank you. Hello to people that are just starting to dribble in. Thank you very much for dropping by and tuning in. To me, when the draw is released, this is like an early Christmas for me anyway. This is just like the most exciting time to be a rugby league fan, because now you can just jot things in your diary and make sure that you're going to be there on a Sunday or a Saturday afternoon sometime in the middle of winter, no matter what team you support. So it's exciting time. So let's waste no time. Now, I will preface this with one thing, that I do know the first round for the North Queensland Cowboys men's side. I'm going to start with the NRLW team. These lovely ladies right here going into their second season. I'm going to share my screen in 3, 2, 1, and here we are. All right, so I'm going to shift it over to the Women's Premiership, and I haven't seen this yet. So 3, 2, 1, all teams, it says. All right, the first game of the NRLW season sees the back-to-back premiers, the Newcastle Knights, take on the Sydney Roosters on a Thursday night football game. That is tremendous. That is a great way to start off the NRLW season in late July. Now I'm going to go straight into the Cowboys. Alrighty, our first mission for 2024, or the ladies' first mission for 2024, is a trip down to PointsBet Stadium, a Saturday 11 a.m. kickoff game against the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks. Alrighty, and that's the first time, well, going to be one of the first times that we see Miss Jakaya Whitfeld don the North Queensland Cowboys jersey. Will she play in the trial? Obviously, you would assume so, but in mid-season stuff, that's where we're going to see Miss Whitfield make her club debut. 1 week later is a home game for the North Queensland Cowboys up against the St. George Illawarra Dragons. Okay, then that's on a Sunday at 6:10 p.m. Alrighty, so I wonder what the Cowboys are looking like on that exact date. We're going to find out it momentarily. Then the Cowboys are zipping down to Brisbane to host the Parramatta Eels in Brisbane. You beauty, that will be my first opportunity to see the ladies in person for the season. They are hosting the Parramatta Eels at midday on a Sunday afternoon. That round 2 fixture against the Dragons makes me interested in what the Cowboys men's team might be doing on that day. All right, round number 4. Okay, so the Cowboys NRLW team, they have an away trip to Cronulla, and then they've got 3 straight home games, technically, 2 actually at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. So that's a bonus. That's not too bad for the Cowboys at all. In round 4, they host the Gold Coast Titans at Queensland Country Bank Stadium, and then surely they're in for an away trip, and they are in for their first ever trip down to GIO Stadium in Canberra, Saturday, 12:45 p.m. against the Canberra Raiders. The likes of Samaima Taufa, for example, will be storming into the defensive line. Round number 6 we go, and it's up at Totally Workwear Stadium. This, I believe, is the first away fixture that the Cowboys will have against the Brisbane Broncos. I might be wrong. I'm just so excited. But they're at Totally Workwear Stadium against the Brisbane Broncos in round number 6. Fantastic stuff. And then round number 7, West Tigers back up at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. So, and then the round 8 fixture, they're down in Gosford. All the ladies are going to play at Gosford, a tremendous bloody ground to watch footy at, I'm sure, to play on as well. Not that I'd know what that would be like. And then in round number 9, we finish with the Newcastle Knights. So the reigning defending premiers will be one of two things. They'll be full strength trying to win the minor premiership or get into the top 4, or alternatively, they could be resting players because they may have already wrapped up the minor premiership. So that could go either way. That could be extremely tough, or it could be a bit of a bonus gimme game. I like that fixture. There is 2 games away from home. Every team has to do it. But that is a much nicer draw. And in comparison to what we got last year, there was only 3 home games at QCB Stadium for the ladies last season. And they are taking 1 game down to Totally Workwear Stadium this year. I'm actually a fan of that. I think that is a much better draw for the North Queensland Cowboys women's team than what it was this time last year. Now, let's go stuck into the men's draw. And look, let's just overview what we already know. We've already seen round 1, and Newcastle and Canberra, they keep their spot on Thursday night footy. I thought that was atrocious form from Channel 9 to bitch about having the Knights and Raiders potentially have a Thursday night game in round 1 when they produced arguably the second best game of the 2023 NRL season. But that's not what we're here to talk about. So in round number 1 for the North Queensland Cowboys, this I already do know. Dolphins host North Queensland at Suncorp on a Sunday afternoon football game. And you bet your bottom dollar that I will be there. So the boys, they've had a decent run of home games to start each campaign for the past 2 or 3 seasons. They have an away game this year again, or next year, against the Dolphins in 2024. Let's make this just Cowboys exclusive now. And there we are. So the Newcastle Knights, they venture up for a second slot Saturday game. Cowboys Knights up at QCB Stadium. Round number 3, we're going to go down. The Dragons. Dragons at where? Cogra. All right, then. Okay, so the boys are off to Sydney inside the first 3 rounds. And I think, so the Dragons, they are away to the Gold Coast. I don't know what they're doing in round 2. As a matter of fact, let me just see what the Dragons are doing in round 2 before I say what I need to say or would like to say. They're in Redcliffe. Okay, so my point here is that there is no easy games, obviously, in the NRL, right? And this is their first home game in the season. So some people are already proclaiming that the Dragons are going to be wooden spooners in 2024. This is their first home game of the season. Coach Shane Flanagan has made a point over the past few months, and the whole Dragons club have made a huge point to make Cogra more of a home than Wollongong in 2024 and moving forward from next season. So that's a big game. That's a big game. I remember games against Penrith Panthers where they took them all the way to the edge a season or 2 ago. So the first 3 rounds for the Cowboys, an away game against the Dolphins at Suncorp, difficult. A home game against the Newcastle Knights. I've got my own opinion on them, but it's not going to be easy. And then you got the Dragons at Cogra and Cowboys record at Cogra. I think it's, even though we won there the last time we played, which was 2022, I still don't think our record at Cogra is very good, almost at all. Moving into round number 4 now. And on the 29th of March, on the Friday night footy slot, Brisbane versus North Queensland in the 4X Derby. Fantastic that the Cowboys and Broncos do battle on a Friday night Channel 9 game. So that's round number 4. And now also just moving on forward now, I don't know what I know what Anzac round weekend is going to look like, but I don't know what Indigenous round or Easter round. I'm pretty sure the next round number 5 is going to be Easter round. So I'm not too sure about what round is going to be what for 2024. And round number 5 is the Gold Coast Titans. They're traveling up to QCB Stadium on Sunday, 4 o'clock. Okay, so 2 Channel 9 games in a row, both featuring Queensland opponents. That's 3 Channel 9 games inside the first 5 rounds. Nice. That's one trip to New South Wales, 4 games in Queensland. So again, the Cowboys, you're going to hear it. You're going to hear it a lot that, oh, the Cowboys, they don't move outside of Queensland a hell of a lot, but it's still a tricky start. The 3 derbies inside the first 5 rounds. You got the Newcastle Knights, who could be just as lethal as what they were last season. And then you got the Dragons away from home. Say what you will about the Dragons, but it's going to be their first home game of the season for the St. George Illawarra Dragons. So I think that is solid. I think that's on the difficulty scale, I'd say a 6 or a 7 out of 10 for sure inside the first 5 rounds. Now let's move into round number 6. And by the way, that I'm assuming, I hope I'm correct, but I'm assuming that's good Sunday football against the Gold Coast Titans on Channel 9. Moving into round number 6, Combank Stadium, Saturday 5:30, Parramatta Eels. I'm sure there is for me. There's still a little bit of venom, a little bit of bad blood between the two clubs since the 2022 prelim and some of the results last year as well. Moving into round number 7, PointsBet Stadium, Shark Park, against the Sharkies on Sunday afternoon football, another Channel 9 game. And that just short of Anzac weekend, Sharks and Cowboys. So that's a difficult 2-week period there. So while the Cowboys obviously, again, have Queensland games in 4 of the opening 5 rounds, then in round 6 and 7, they got 2 back-to-back Sydney trips against Parramatta and Cronulla. All right, moving into round number 8, they host the Penrith Panthers, and this time it is not going to be Origin affected. It is not going to be at the arse end of a season as well. This is going to be a fair dinkum pure Cowboys and Panthers game. I know it was last year in round 27, but mid-season, Anzac weekend as well, by the way. Anzac round against the Penrith Panthers, Saturday, 7:30 p.m. That's going to be a huge game in Townsville. That's going to be a massive game. Round number 9, a second game back-to-back. So that's a QCB against the Dolphins. So 2 Sydney trips against Parramatta and Cronulla. And then we're back at home for 2 weeks in a row against the Panthers and the Dolphins. So the Dolphins are done and dusted for us inside the first 9 rounds of the season. Round number 10, travel down to Seabus Super Stadium, and the Cowboys, that's where their 2023 campaign absolutely unraveled. And Mr. BKR Sport and a few other Gold Coast Titans made us Cowboys fans look like absolute bloody bastards. But that's a Channel 9 Sunday afternoon game, so a lot of Channel 9 for the North Queensland Cowboys inside the first 10 rounds. Moving into round number 11, and the Rabbitohs take the home game up to Brisbane for Magic Round. That's interesting. So South Sydney and Cowboys have done battle at a Magic Round before. I believe that may have been the first ever Magic Round. But against the Rabbitohs at Magic Round in round number 11, Saturday, 7:30. So that's the big primetime Channel 9 game as well for Magic Round. Alrighty, that's the task ahead of us. And I reckon that'd just about be the round where people would be fighting for their last right or chance to proclaim their spot for State of Origin as well. So Magic Round could be absolutely enormous in 2024 in regards to State of Origin selections. So that's 2 away games in a row, but both staying in Queensland. And after 11 rounds, I think that is. I don't want to say the word tough. It's a solid first 11 rounds, man. So you've got what? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 5 derbies inside the first 10 rounds. You got that back-to-back Sydney trip as well. And then you've got this here as well. So I reckon it's a pretty solid outing in the first 11 rounds. And they haven't come near their first bye yet for 2024 North Queensland. Round number 12, they host the West Tigers on a Friday night at 6 p.m. This is a fixture that I would hoped, or I was hoping, would get a Channel 9 game, just because I think this is going to go off again. Like the year before, with the controversial end to the game between the Cowboys and Tigers, with what happened between these two clubs in 2023, this game, I think, could go off. It could end up being a 13 plus points game, but it's not a rivalry, but there is bad blood between the Cowboys and the West Tigers. Moving into round number 13 now, and there you go. The Cowboys' first ever trip. Well, it's their first trip to the brand new Allianz Stadium in round number 13. I don't know if that's going to be an Origin-affected game as well now. But their first ever trip to Allianz is going to be a Channel 9 Sunday afternoon game against the Sydney Roosters. There you go, Sunday, the 2nd of June. Moving into round 14, they host the New Zealand Warriors, Saturday, 5:30 p.m. Alrighty, we're 14 rounds in, no bye yet, and this is what happened to us in 2023. So we're going to have to fight our way big time until we get our first rest of the season, and that doesn't come yet. GIO Stadium, we're back down at GIO Stadium on Friday, the 14th of June at 6 p.m. against the Canberra Raiders in round 15. Whether or not that's Origin affected, I'm not too sure. And round 16, the boys finally have their first bye of 2024, and that's going to be around the 20th, 21st of June, thereabouts. That's when the date falls on. So yeah, that's a decent test. That's a decently tough test for the North Queensland side. So once they finish their bye, they've got a trip to the foot of the Blue Mountains, Sunday afternoon footy. Oh man, so that's 3 straight weeks where the Cowboys don't have a home game, and 2 trips down to New South Wales by and large, Raiders and Panthers. Oh man, hopefully that one's an Origin-affected game against the Panthers. Round number 18, I didn't even recognize the logo just for a split second there. Manly, they travel up to North Queensland to take on the Cowboys, Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Moving into round number 19, they have a bye. All right, so they got 2 games sandwiched in between 2 of their byes. It could be difficult to garner momentum if there isn't already momentum on our backs during this period. So after our second bye, we host the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs, Sunday, 6:15 p.m. Then the week later, round 21, Saturday, 5:30 p.m., hosting Cronulla. Alrighty then. So that's 3 straight home games for North Queensland. They're doing things in stretches here, aren't they, in 2024? So the boys don't have a game for 3 straight weeks, on the road for 2 of them, including a bye. And then we're at home for 3 straight weeks, and that's against Manly, Canterbury, and Cronulla. So there's a pivotal period of the season already. That's 3 straight home games. Obviously, the dream scenario is to win all 3, but that already just feels like a crucial point in the season. And moving into round number 22, all right, we're away to the West Tigers at Leichhardt. Of course, it's Leichhardt Oval. Of course, ever since JT said it was the worst ground he could have played on, the West Tigers have just automatically, in the NRL, they've just said Cowboys will forever now play at Leichhardt Oval. I'd actually like to see Cowboys play at Campbelltown again one of these days, just because I've never been. I'd like to venture out and see it, but they're at Leichhardt Oval on a Thursday night, and I think that's their first Thursday night game as well for the season. And then the Brisbane Broncos, Saturday, 5:30 p.m. Unfortunately, Townsville don't get the Channel 9 game against the Brisbane Broncos, but Saturday, 5:30 p.m., it's going to be chock-a-block. Will be an absolute blockbuster. Round number 24, they host the Canberra Raiders, Saturday, the 17th of August at 5:30 p.m., followed by round 25, their bye. And then round 26, the second last round of the season. I was wondering when these boys were going to show up. The Melbourne Storm, Thursday, the 29th of August, Thursday night footy against the Melbourne Storm. This could be a battle to see who gets into the top 8. That's a pretty big game. All right. So how did the Cowboys finish their season in 2024? Round 27. It's a Saturday fixture. It's against the Bulldogs at Accor Stadium. Well, there you go. All righty. Besides Allianz Stadium, unfortunately, there's no sort of special niche trips for the North Queensland side. There's no trips to, let's say, I don't know, there's no trips to Bathurst, for example, or there's no trips up to Cairns for the North Queensland Cowboys, which should so be incorporated more into the vocabulary that it really should. But again, here, it just clicked for me here. From round 23 to round 26, the boys don't need to hop on a plane in any way, shape, or form. There are 3 straight stretches in 2024 where they have 3 straight home games. And here there's a bye sandwiched in there. So that's an entire month from the entire month of August. They don't need to move. They don't need to hop on a plane at all. Yes, the opposition, based off of last year or 2023, are top 8 teams in Brisbane, Canberra, and Melbourne. But twice in 2024, they have 3 straight home games. And twice in 2024, I think they're away back-to-back in New South Wales. So they do finish with a Sydney trip down to Bulldogs territory. And the Bulldogs over the past couple of years seem to finish with a bit of a flurry. But there you go. There you go. That is the North Queensland Cowboys season for 2024. I'm now going to drool all over me friggin' tablet. Just quickly, I'm going to just stop the screen. So, guys, so Jason Reader, thank you very much. We've got Knights and Raiders produced some fantastic matches, Faraz says. Faraz, Sam, sorry to say your boys are going to have to face the ambush at the beautiful Suncorp. Of course, well, bro, wouldn't have it any other way, mate. Wouldn't have it any other way. Again, Cowboys, Broncos, and Townsville, no 9 air game. Shake my head. Faraz says, yes, mate. Yeah, that's a little bit disappointing. Overall, man, like I'm okay. I'm just, that's a good draw. It's a good draw, but nothing really sticks out to me. Really, I am looking forward though to see how the boys go in their first trip to Allianz Stadium. Obviously, round 1, Sunday afternoon footy against the Dolphins. That's going to be a super exciting and tough way to start the season. It's going to be absolutely massive. All right, then. Well, let us know in the comments how you think your team rated in the fixtures in 2024. And now I'm going to let's just read this comment before I go. Sharks' biggest winners again, to be honest, and the Central Coast match, Dogs, Chooks will be nice. All right. Well, calm down, Faraz, mate. You're spoiling a little bit of me fun, bit of me Christmas, mate. I didn't know that Dogs and Roosters were playing in Gosford. But there you go. All right, then, guys. Merry Christmas. We got just a late inclusion here, Mr. BKR Sport himself. Thank you very much. He's doing things internationally at the moment, so I really appreciate him taking the time out of his day. And he says Titans draw is amazing. To be honest, there is a period in the middle of the season where they have 6 straight weeks in Southeast Queensland, 3 home games in a row. Broncos, Suncorp bye, then Rabbits at Seabus. Wow. Okay, then. And I thought it looks like there for a period in the news there that Titans were only going to have 1 home game in the first 5 rounds, it looked like. Just like based off the rumors, like about 4 or 5 days ago, it looked like that the fixture had been done up to suggest that the Titans were only going to have 1 home game inside the first 5 rounds. So I'm about to go and scope that out. That's fantastic. That's fantastic news. So, by the way, before I go, I am going to bring back my overlooking draw series that I did last year. I'm going to look at your team's fixtures sometime starting in December. With who? Don't know yet. But I am going to bring back my Overlook series because I thought it did really well last season. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Good to be back talking rugby league on the Wobble Enjoy Sports channel. Take care. Adios.